inside scoop. Listen to the Ranger Report. Oh, here we go.
This is the Ranger Report Podcast, Minor League Edition. News, insights, predictions, interviews, and information about the Texas Rangers from the major leagues to the minor leagues. And now, here are your hosts, Ben Dieter and CJ Berryman.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the Ranger Report podcast. We are thrilled today to be joined by Round Rock catcher Matt Whatley. Matt, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Doing really, really good. I have a co-host that'll join us here in a minute, but we'll start with just you and me. So let's start with the 2022 review season. You were part of that Frisco championship team, not till the end, but you played with them for a really long time. What was that experience like last year?
It was great. We had a great group of guys early to start and obviously to end it. Obviously, I wasn't there for when they won, but I always make sure to follow along, and I was on the FaceTimes when they were celebrating all that kind of stuff. So it was great for the guys and great for the org as well.
Yeah, it was. And that was a stacked team as far as, catching goes. You're a catcher. That's your trade. What was it like? That rotation was so stacked last year. What was it like catching those guys for you last year?
Oh, when you have those guys, it makes things a little bit easier. You just game plan. Fortunately for me, we were able to stick to game plans. They trusted me, and it was just a lot of nodding the heads, and they were convicted in what they're doing. And obviously, you don't have the arms, you're not going to, get very far. And sure enough, we did, both in the starting rotation and the bullpen. And that's, I think, what helped them win. Yeah,
you guys are stacked. So I know this is like picking a favorite child, but who was your favorite pitcher to catch last year for Frisco?
Oh, shoot. I think, obviously, Reagan's.
Yeah.
He was my roommate there in AA at the start of the year. He's such a great guy, great pitcher. So I think we got along, had a great chemistry. So he was always fun to catch. I feel like we were always on the same page.
Yeah, that's cool. And he's got 2 wins at the major league level now with 5 pitches in each win. That's pretty incredible.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And now for him, talk about him for a second, coming out of the bullpen, which he's not used to doing. I think he's done fantastic so far this year for Texas.
Yeah, he's been great. Getting to watch him during spring training. I know he worked really hard this offseason to kind of bump his velo, worked on a few pitches, and hard work's really paid off. It's been fun to watch him. I think he's going to keep excelling in whatever position that they put him in.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Okay, so spring training, let's talk a little bit about that. How was your spring in 2023?
Spring was great. I caught more games, more big league games than I have in years past. The bats were okay, working on some things, I think by the end of it. And now I feel a lot better, going into the box. So, but all in all, I thought it was a great time. It was good to meet the new staff with Boach and Maddox and all those guys. I'm excited to see where we're going to be at, at the end of the year.
So whose brains did you pick at spring training while you had a chance to pick on, coaches and players and major leaguers and all that? Who did you kind of pick on? Did you pick someone in particular that you really wanted to talk to?
Right. So actually, fortunately for me, my locker was in between Heaney, Evaldi, and then it was me, and then it was Martin Perez and Jacob deGrom. So I was sandwiched in between some guys that know what they're doing. So I was able to just try and pick as many brains, be a sponge. And I think that stuff has really helped.
Yeah, and they've had quite a start at that major league rotation. So I know Heaney had a bad first game, but man, he broke a record held by Nolan Ryan in his last start, which is really difficult to do.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's a fellow Okie.
Yeah.
So we got along that way. Had some some common ground there. But yeah, he was great for me, and he answered all the questions that I had, and it was awesome.
That's great. Okay, so you're 2023. You're with Round Rock. You look up and down the Rangers minor league system. You guys are stacked, at every level. You've got tons of talent. So do you set personal goals or team goals, and what kind of goals and expectations do you have for yourself in 2023?
Personal goals, I think, just stay healthy, be prepared, and just kind of contribute wherever I can. I think as an organizational goal, we're going to keep trying to win ball games. And then I think at some point we're going to help. We're going to help the big league team win, whether that is going up there and contributing trades, whatever, we're going to be prepared. And I think that's why our org is so good. It's because we have so many guys that can do so many different things. We have arms, we have position players, we have bats. So it's exciting times here in the Texas organization.
Yeah, you already talk about injuries. We already had Garver go down with an injury for Texas for just a 10-day quick thing. They sent Sandy Leon up, but that kind of thing in the back of your mind, injuries happen. So I'm sure you'd like to make it to the bigs this year at some point. But is that a goal, or is that just something you want to happen?
Obviously, it's a goal. I want it to happen. But the only thing that I can control is showing up every day, preparing, and just keeping my nose to the grindstone. And if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, just keep perfecting my craft.
Yeah, because you've been a pretty high prospect in the Rangers for catching for years now, for a couple of years. We've been keeping up with you here, so it's just great to watch. I'd love to see you get there. When he went down, you were the first name that popped in my head, hoping, because I know Sam Huff, they want him to get every day at bats, and they want you to as well, probably, which is why Sandy got sent up. But still, it's kind of fun knowing that at any point you can get that call.
Yeah, it's exciting. But also, you don't want to look too far into anything that they're doing. There's a reason for everything. So you just, like I said, just keep trying to work hard every day, control what you can control, and just kind of go from there.
Yeah, and I'd like to welcome in. This is CJ Berryman, my co-host. CJ, there's his hand there.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm got my primary job going on right now at the same time. So
all good.
Sorry for being a little late. Go ahead, Ben. Keep going. Keep rolling.
Oh, if you're ready, you can do question 5.
I'm not.
Okay, that's cool. So you grew up in Claremore, Oklahoma. Did you play any other positions, or did you always want to be a catcher?
Grew up in Claremore. From the time I was 10, I played shortstop before that. And then one day our catcher went down. They put me back behind the plate. I was able to really catch and throw and I blocked the ball. I enjoyed putting the gear on, and it just kind of stuck. So yeah, that's the only place I've been since I was about 10 years old.
Do you have a wicked fastball like Jordan Procession?
I have no idea. I haven't been on the mound in I'm 27, so I haven't been on the mound in 17 years. So I have no idea.
Well, you remember him. He threw what? His fastball was 50-something miles an hour when he pitched last year.
Oh yeah, no, he was great. We would get to 2 strikes, somebody throw a knuckleball in there. He was fun. We
had him on, and I talked about that, and he laughed about, it worked, but he wasn't very good at it. But yeah. Did you play any other sports in high school besides baseball?
Yeah, I played football till after my junior year, and then I wrestled up until I was a freshman or sophomore. So
okay, cool. All right, CJ, go ahead.
So yeah, you were drafted by the Rangers in the 3rd round in 2017. Was there any other teams that had contact with you that you thought maybe would take you? I mean, I'm assuming third round, quite a few teams had been reaching out.
Yeah, it was it's a long time ago. I think the Brewers and the Mariners were in there, but I honestly couldn't be totally truthful and in saying who. So I think those were the 2. Other than that, I'm not really sure.
You growing up in Oklahoma, were you a Rangers fan, an Astros fan, a Royals fan, a Braves fan? Who did you grow up rooting for?
Growing up rooting for, actually, I was a Cardinals fan with Yadier Molina, Matt Holliday, all those guys. So yeah, I grew up a Cardinals fan. I do remember growing up though. My grandma used to live at next to the old Driller Stadium in Texas. So I remember watching a few of those games when I was really young at the old stadium. Which was the Texas AA group at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, and the Rangers AAA used to be in Oklahoma City. So
yep, the Oklahoma City Redhawks. I believe.
Yeah, Redhawks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that because I have an old MLB The Show game where it was still the Oklahoma City Redhawks in the minor league system.
Yeah, so yeah, you're from Oklahoma. I'm from Amarillo, Texas, so it's not far. So did you have it's first off, it's weird how many Cardinals fans are from around here. Here in the Panhandle, if you're not a Rangers fan, you're a Cardinals fan. There's not many Yankees fans, Red Sox fans that I know of. Mm-hmm. Most of them are Cardinals fans. It's kind of crazy. Is it the same way where you grew up? A lot of Cardinals fans, or?
I'm not totally sure. I think it's a decent mix. The only thing I know is there's a lot of people in Oklahoma that are Cowboys fans. That's the only thing I really remember. But yeah.
There's a lot of people everywhere now that are Chiefs fans. So.
Yeah. Well, I grew up a Chiefs fan too. So I just kind of stayed north. I never really went south with with my teams. I'm not sure why.
Yeah. Who's your favorite Chief?
My favorite Chief back in the day, I loved him because my dad loved him, was Dante Hall. I thought he was so sweet, returning kicks and all that kind of stuff.
X-Man.
Yep.
X Factor.
I have the problem that I grew. Oh, go ahead, CJ.
Go, Ben, go.
I grew up a Broncos fan, so I didn't want to like the Chiefs, but Patrick Mahomes is from close to where I'm from, so you can't hate on that dude. That dude's a nice dude, man.
Yeah, exactly. He's so good. You can't hate on him like too much. So
yeah, and he went to Texas Tech, which is just a couple hours from me. So
right.
It's easy. Yeah, again, it's easy. And his dad pitched for the Rangers for a little bit. Mm-hmm. So did you have any favorite players growing up? I know you mentioned Yachty.
It was Yachty and Pudge. I idolize those two guys. I think those guys
you can't go wrong with those two.
Right, yeah. I mean, staples in the catching area of baseball. So I really looked up to those guys, and I loved watching them play.
As much as I love Pudge as a longtime Rangers fan and covering the team, I got to say Yachty's got to be one of the greatest of all time.
He's got to be. The way the way he commands the staff and everybody has respect for him. I mean, no doubt in my mind that he's probably one of the best.
I mean, he throws out guys at second sometimes, and it's not. I mean, sometimes you say, sometimes you say it's not close, and then sometimes you watch Yachty throw, and you're like, dude, that guy had no chance in the world.
Oh yeah.
The only guy close to him right now, I mean, it's since then that I've seen is Real Muto, because that dude's he gets the ball
another Okie guy
fast.
Yeah, another Oklahoma guy. So I think the more I've played, the more I enjoy watching JT do what he does. Obviously a little biased because he's from Oklahoma. Yeah. Hopefully one day soon I'll get to go down there and work out with him in Oklahoma City. That'd be great.
Well, a lot of people, just for people that don't know, catching is more footwork than anything. Is that correct?
It's a little bit of both. It's a combination of things. Like there's no more big slow catchers anymore, like majority of us are pretty athletic and all that kind of stuff. So
we're throwing down to second though. It's all about setting yourself right and getting behind it. Cause you watch, I mean, it's just amazing to me to watch you guys shift that fast to make that throw and then throw it on the dot. I'll tell you what, I played catcher for one game and I threw my arm out, but I got the guy. It was like a perfect throw down to second, but I didn't set my feet or anything. It was just like a winging it down there. And as soon as I did it, man, my shoulder was like, that was a big time mistake right there. Cause I didn't.
Hey, well, you went out on top. You were 1 for 1. So.
I did. I was 1 for 1. Only guy that tried to steal on me, I got. So that was great.
You are 1,000 on the cot.
For some reason, I didn't get drafted off that one throw, but
All right.
Yeah, I played a little catcher too, and I always mirrored Pudge because he'd always, when the runner would go, he'd turn and set his feet because he was fast enough and quick enough with his legs that if the ball was in the dirt, or even if it was in the dirt, he could still pick it with just one hand. Stay set and just wing it down there. So Pudge was amazing, and watching him just kind of give warning shots, just from his seat, catch the ball and just flick it over there like I see you. I see you. But so now this gets the serious question. This is my favorite question. It's you're on the hot seat. We'll just put it that way.
Okay.
All right. So you ready?
Let's do it.
What is your go-to at Whataburger?
Go-to at Whataburger? Oh, it's either patty melt meal or double bacon or double cheeseburger with bacon.
Oh yeah.
There you go. Those are my two go-tos. Mainly the patty melt, but sometimes I'm just like, just throw all the beef on there.
Right. Or if it's late enough, the honey butter chicken.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We get that one all the time. We get that one all the time. Yeah.
That's our most common answer right there is the honey butter chicken biscuit sandwich.
Well, my favorite two answers we ever had to that question was Rangers broadcaster Eric Nadell told us that they'll grill the jalapenos for you if you ask them, but he said he learned that trick from Nolan Ryan, and I'm like, maybe they just do that for Nolan Ryan. I'm not sure they'll do that.
That's probably a Nolan thing.
And then former Rangers beat writer Levi Weaver told us that the Buffalo Ranch chicken strip sandwich.
Oh, that thing is good too.
He said it's for a limited time, but if you go in there and order the honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich and ask them to substitute Buffalo Ranch, you can get it all year round, and that was a good tip.
I mean, that thing always hits. I mean,
whenever that thing comes up, I think it's like for 3 months a year, 4 months a year, whatever. Yeah, I get that a lot. It's pretty tasty because they don't mess around with putting the ranch on there either.
No, they don't.
They don't just smidge it on there. They load it up.
They put it on there.
They do the buffalo sauce. Yeah.
All right. Well, Matt, we appreciate you spending some time with us today.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's been great, and best of luck for you this season. Hopefully, you guys can win a championship there in Round Rock this year.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you guys for having me. So you guys are awesome.
All right, thanks, Matt. Have a great day, man.
Yeah,
have a good one.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Welcome back, everybody. We were grateful to Matt Whatley for joining us today. And while we're here, we figured we'd hit the minors a little bit. CJ, let's start with the 6-3 Round Rock Express.
Yes, sir. Looking good tonight. They're going to have Cole Wynn, who struggled in his first outing, but luckily Cody Bradford was able to pick him up the next night. And Bradford's, we haven't talked a whole lot about Bradford. We've mentioned him quite a bit, but haven't gotten too in depth with him. But yeah, he's one of the Rangers' top 100 prospects in the MLB pipeline, and he's a guy that's I guess you could say finesse, or not really finesse, but he's crafty. He doesn't throw 95, 96, but he's obviously he spots the ball well, and he I think his average fastball is about 90, 91.
Yeah,
but he's moved up the ranks. He's pitched well everywhere he's played, and I'm hoping Cole Wynn tonight can bounce back from his first outing.
I wanted to mention him a little bit, just like Andrew Heaney. He did not have the best first start, but again, you and I both talked about this off air. We're not worried about him. I think he's going to be all right. I think he'll be just fine. I think it's just, that first start of the year, guys are still rusty. Batters are ahead of pitchers when you come to the beginning of the season. And I think Cole Wynn is either going to be fine, or this is a break year for him, that he's going to fall out of that top prospect list, or he'll be fine. But I personally, just watching him pitch, I think he'll be fine.
I think so too. And it really is. I'm glad you mentioned that. It's a make or break year for him, because last year was, let's just face it, it wasn't good. Up until that point, he was dominant everywhere he was.
Remember in Frisco 2 years ago, he was amazing.
Yeah, he was great. And when you had him and Jake Latz going back to back in the same rotation in Frisco, and it's just like, good luck. They had ERAs around 2, going 6-7 innings every time out, it seemed. And yeah, Cole Wynn's definitely in. Hello, Beltray. Ranger report dog. Reporting for duty. So I think it'll be fine. Yeah, not only was it his first start, it was the first start of the year. For Round Rock period. Yeah. So, and he's got plenty of rest under his belt as well. With the 6 on, 6 off. He started opening day, so now we're going into game 10, and he's getting his second start. So I think he'll be just fine.
And speaking of guys, let's move on to Frisco, who didn't have a good first start. Jack Leiter with an 8.31 ERA in his first start. He's going tonight as well. Again, we're recording this during the day on Wednesday, so he's going tonight. But Jack Leiter, another guy that I wouldn't say it's a make or break year for him, but I'm not worried about him. He's got the stuff. He just needs to not walk as many batters, and he'll be in good shape, because he's still getting his strikeouts. He's just having some he's nipping at corners a little too much and not getting the calls.
Yeah, and he's a guy that doesn't have to do that. And he throws hard enough, and he's got enough movement to where he can get away throwing. Let's hope it's not a consistent case, but throwing too good of strikes, catching too much play. But he's got a guy with the movement on his pitches that he can get away with some of that. But you certainly don't want to see him losing command and trying to nitpick, and when he really doesn't have to. But he's still learning. Heck, it's just his second full year.
Yeah. And again, he started at Frisco again for a reason. They want to make sure that he's ready before he moves up. And I think by the end of April, midway through May, we're going to be talking about what a great year he's having.
I certainly believe so. And another guy that we're about to talk about, who was just drafted this year, I see him being up Frisco by the end of the year for sure. But let's talk about Carlos Cardoza getting tossed last night. Man, so it was I'm trying to remember who it was. Was it Harris?
I believe so, yeah.
It was hitting and got called out on a pitch clock violation, and he was ticked off, and apparently the pitcher hadn't even towed the rubber yet, and I guess the umpire started counting.
Yeah.
And caught him in it was Dustin Harris. Got him in a pitch clock violation and called him out, and Carlos Cardozo went out to defend him, and he did just that.
Well, and when I got to meet Cardozo at Media Day, that dude, he looks like a player. I mean, he's still in great shape. He's a young looking guy, but man, he still got the attitude of, he is a player's manager. He defends those guys. And I mean, he did the right thing. It was a bad call by the umpire. He did the right thing, call. But you love to see a manager with that kind of passion. And I think that's going to bode well. Even though Frisco started 1-3, I'm not worried about them one bit.
No, again, it's early for everybody. And no matter how good you're doing, I mean, look at the Rays. Now, it seems like every year you look at the Rays and you just, they're going to be good.
But they're not going to finish 162-0.
No, but you expect them to hit a swoon too. They're not going to go out there and win 120 games. If they do, holy cow, just hand a trophy. But but I mean,
Houston has a losing record, and I still think they're going to win the AL West.
I think they're going to win the division. So it's too early to tell. But I mean, there's plenty of good and bad to look at, all up and down the Rangers organization, no matter how you slice it. But you could come up with, he did well, he's done well this far, or he hadn't done very well this year, just so far. But but so let's move on to Hickory, and a guy I know you and I have both been waiting.
Yeah, for what happened last night. They're 2-0, and someone made a start last night that everyone in the world has been waiting for, and that is one Kumar Rocker.
Yeah, and he I don't know. The only way he could have started any better was to not allow any hits. He allowed 2 in 5 innings and struck out 8. Yeah. That's his line. Yeah. No runs scored. That's his line.
That's a pretty good line.
Awesome start. And
Hickory is stacked. I mean, if people don't know, the high A team this year, it seems to be the high A team every year. It's just stacked with like the stud pitching and hitting prospects.
The stat from last night, not just Rocker's overall, his line 5-2-8.
Yeah.
5 innings, 2 hits, and 8 strikeouts. Yeah. But he threw 53 pitches.
Yeah.
42 strikes.
Yep.
He threw 11 balls and 53 pitches.
Yeah. That's like Greg. That's Greg Maddox. That's Greg Maddox stuff right there, man.
That is. It really is. I mean, it's high A and it's his first start. And you can say we're over touting him, but I mean, this is kind of the guy everybody saw 2 years ago. Whenever heading up to the draft, Kumar Rocker and Jack Leiter were considered 1A and 1B.
Well, in my opinion, you put Kumar Rocker in single A and high A, and this is what you want to see him do in high A. Is just you look unhittable, dominate, and look like he doesn't belong there. He looks like, that's what you want to see Kumar Rocker do in his time at Hickory.
Yeah, and that's what I hope that they would have done with last year with Leiter. They didn't, and that's fine.
Well, and I think that's why Rocker's down there is because
I think that was again an example of what they should have done. I think they learned from that.
And I think Leiter, like I said, Leiter will be fine, but I think Rocker might actually be ahead of him because of where he's starting by the time this season's over.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, you might be right. Although Leiter's got a year on him, but I think he was pitching above his level last year, and I don't. Yeah. Again, that's not a slight.
Well, and he wasn't even awful. He struck a lot of guys out last year. Yeah. It's just that, like we talked about, that control. But Rocker looked fantastic. He really did. So if you didn't get to see it, I'm sure there's video out there you can find of him pitching. It was a great outing. He'll go again next week. And then now let's move down to Down East, who is 2-1. Down East again. Down East have started out decently, but both those leagues have had some rainouts already this year. But Down East, another team that's stacked with good talent. Cam Cauley's one of the guys there who started really hot. Been a pretty good start for them as well.
Cam Cauley and Jason Morabel. Those are guys that you want to keep eyes on, especially Morabel. He kind of has that maybe 5 tool, maybe.
Morabel is a guy that could be a stacked major league player one day if he develops correctly.
Well, he's only hitting 125, but his OBP is 462.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got 8 at bats, 4 walks. So 12 plate appearances. Yeah. 4 walks. That's pretty darn good. So it's pretty showing patience at that level is impressive.
Well, and that's what impressed everybody with Aaron Zavala at Hickory last year was the fact that he he had like a really low batting average, but like a 700 on base percentage because he walked like 60% of the time that he faced back. So those patient guys usually do well. Zavala should be back soon too in Frisco, but yeah, down east again, they were the only team to finish under 500 last year, and that was because the last game got rained down. They didn't replay it. And so they finished one game under. But I think once again this year, you're going to see some stacked minor league teams. I think down east and Hickory, if you guys don't pay attention to them, we're going to try to cover them. And then also I know Jeff Wilson covers all that on his site too, the Rangers Today website. And we'll be covering it as well. There's so much good stuff going on in the minors and the majors, but we'll do majors on our next podcast. But today we wanted to drop some minor knowledge on y'all. It's been good starts for all the teams. And we'll try to keep you guys updated on Twitter and Facebook on what's going on in the majors and the minors.
Yeah, me and Ben have split it up kind of a little bit. Both of us are eyeballing two teams apiece, so we'll be trying to do the best we can to get the most we can for you guys.
Yeah, so today was our first minor league guest. Thanks again to Matt Whatley for joining us from the Round Rock Express, catcher, part of that Frisco team last year, but like Blaine Krim, he got called up before they won the championship, so he wasn't part of the playoffs, but he still was a huge part of that team last year, and just such a great guy. Thank him so much for coming on with us today.
Fun. Yep.
It was a lot of fun. CJ, thank you. I'll let you get back to your day job.
Yeah. Yep. You too.
Yeah, I know. We both stupid work getting in the way.
Golly.
No, I'm just kidding.
Hard.
Kidding. It pays my bills. I like jobs.
I love this new job. It's great.
Awesome. All right. Well, that is the Ranger Report podcast, minor league edition for the week of April the 11th or 10th or whatever week this is. So thank you guys. Thank you guys very much for joining us, and we will talk to you on the next one.
Until next time, deuces.
Thanks for listening to the Ranger Report podcast. Find us on Twitter, Facebook, and at therangerreport.com.